Okay, let me start sharing. Okay, so okay, let's get. Okay, so this is the Algorithmic Trading Club. Well, of course it is. Okay, so as a notice, next week will be remote only. Today, well, today's hybrid. And always be sure to check your email or other social media to see if in-person is available. So last week when we went over a basic quant connect algorithm that used simple moving averages to trade Apple stock. Today we're gonna go over coarse and fine filters. So what are these coarse and fine filters? So what happens if we want to dynamically select the stocks that we want to invest in instead of just predefining some symbols at the beginning? And one example is Nokia. Like, what happens if Nokia just goes bankrupt and delists? Then our algorithm would stop trading at all. And also, it can help us find some stocks based on some criteria. And these criteria can be seen through our coarse and fine filters. So coarse filter is a filter that filters based on some basic trading information like share price, volume, or like etc. And a fine filter filters on financial and fundamental data such as price to earnings, asset to debt, and etc. And so here are some example filters. So top 10 by dollar volume, top 10 by volume, and price is greater than 10. And this would be example of two coarse factors that you can filter by. Or the top 5 stocks with the lowest PE ratio. And once this filter is applied, it is narrowed down to what is called the universe of stocks. Can you guys hear me okay? The remote people?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go over what we went over last week. So let's just I want to go over like how to use two indicators. Before I jump into coarse and fine filter to trade, I'm gonna start by going over what we went over last year. So let's just add equity. So we're gonna trade Apple like we did last week. So then we want to specify the resolution. So resolution.daily. And that just indicates that we want Apple data to be aggregated into daily bars. And we will receive a new update of data every day, once per day. You can change the resolution to like minute or a second to get a new bar of data every minute or new bar of data every second. But for backtest running speed, we're just going to do daily. And then we are going to create a two indicators. So that SMA 20 equals. And then we want to specify the how many points of data, and then the resolution of the data we want to feed our indicator. And then we can just copy this. Let me go over this faster. We already went over this last week. But let's introduce another indicator. So self.rsi equals self.rsi TL. And then let's do 14 and then resolution.daily. Okay, so now let's trade on based on this data. So let's first have the SMA cross as we usually do. So if self.sma.current 20.current is greater than self.sma 50.current. Okay, so that's our first condition. And then let's add another condition. And okay, so RSI is just some random indicator that's between 0 and 100. And it can tell you whether something's overbought or oversold. Like there's no really science behind it, to be honest. But let's just say like if it's 0 to 100, let's just put some random arbitrary 70, okay? And then we can go long. Okay, does someone remember? Okay, how do we set 100% of our portfolio to a certain stock? Does anyone remember this from last week? See it. It's the what line of code we would have to write. Okay, it doesn't seem people remember. Okay, so self.set holdings, the holdings, and then we indicate what we want to buy. We want to buy Apple stock, and we indicate a ratio from 0 to 1 to as a percentage of our portfolio. Then else, let's just self.set holdings. Okay, there's a better way to do this later, but let's just leave it at this. Okay, and then as we explained earlier, last time, we want to warm up our indicator. So self.set warm up, and we want to, so we have 3 indicators here: resolution of 20, resolution 50, and resolution 14. And we want to do the highest level resolution because then if we get 50 bars of data, then the 20 bars of data indicator and the 14 bars of data indicator are already warmed up. And then let's just, that is warming up. And this just tells us that we're warming up. Okay, let's run this. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Let me check chat. It doesn't seem to, shit, I need to copy. Let me run this. Yeah, functions run. Oops, I forgot okay, so to access that value to indicator, you have to do .current.value, and you see here that I did self.rsi, and I'm trying to compare like an indicator to like an integer, so I forgot to add the current.value. And that's one bug that you might often see. Okay, so let's say you have a question on using Quant Connect. I'd say the best place to go is to go to the Quant Connect community. Well, in fact, I used to, so we actually have, well, not we, I used to work here, but there are full-time employees who are just here. I mean, full-time employees who spend a lot of their time answering their support questions. So if you have a question, just feel, or you can even search old forums to see if someone else had the same problem. And so part of my summer internship at Quant Connect, and as well as my part-time work throughout the school year last year, was I'd go through these forums and then like answer it, like help people fix bugs, help people like do whatever and contribute to discussion. Okay, yeah, trade it. Not very good. Okay, let's go back to this. What the heck? Okay. Yeah. Okay, another thing you can do is instead of self.set holdings, you do self.liquidate. It's honestly the same thing. Whatever. Actually, it's not the same thing. You have to specify which stock you want to do. If you just leave it like this, it'll just sell everything. Okay, this is equivalent to self.set only 0. Okay. Any questions right now? It's good. Okay, no questions. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on to what we wanted to do today. Okay, so there are things called coarse filters and fine filters. This slide. And how do we create? So they're represented as a function, and then the function takes in like some data, like some stuff, and then we. Oh yeah, you guys are free to follow along, and you're like on Quant Connect. But you can Quant Connect's free to make an account and stuff, and you can copy whatever I type in and just run it yourself. Okay, so let's register a course function. So self.addUniverse, this is the syntax. Then self.course func. And then down here, let's define a course filter function. Def course func self, and then it takes one. Actually, it takes one argument of a course, which is like a iterable object that contains a bunch of like course thingies, and they have like different information, like the market price, the price of the stock, the volume, yeah, just a bunch of like different information about it. And then what we want to return is a collection of symbol objects. Let's go with that. Okay, so then we also, let's leave this later for the SMA stuff. Okay, so you can actually search what these they're called a course fund actually, and I still have it in my bookmarks. I'm not gonna bother. Okay, so each of these course thingies inside this course iterable is a course fundamental object, and the course fundamental object has different fields such as price, dollar volume, and some other stuff. Okay, so let's see this step. It says define the course filter function, then sort by the dollar volume and get the top 10. Okay, so let's sort it. Okay, so sorted by dvol standing for dollar volume equals sorted, pass in the course. Then we want to specify the key on which we sort. Okay, actually, let me go over this, what sorted does. Okay, so say we have like a list. Let's just define a list called one. Put some random numbers in here. Okay, then when we call sorted on this, what it do is sort it based on some criteria. And what happens if we want to have like some custom way to sort it? Like what happens if we want to sort it by like its modulus 2? We can specify a key, and then we do lambda, and then we take in some argument. Let's just call it A1 for argument 1. It only has, and then we can do A1 mod 2. Actually, let's do mod 3 or something. Let's give this a different order. Okay, and you can see that actually, okay, there. And you can see that, what the heck? Okay, there, we're getting some different orderings based on the key value. And what the key does is it specifies a function, and then what's returned as the result of that function is how we are going to compare the elements within this list. Okay, so this is really nice. So say we have like a list of tuples instead. Let's call it D. And then, so like 1, 2, no, like 1 to 100, 3, 350, 9, 200. Like, how do we sort this? Like, does it make sense? Like, how do we sort this list of tuples? Is there like some natural ordering? Well, there really isn't some natural ordering, but we can specify some heuristic on how we want to sort it. So let's just let's sort this D by the first element. So key equals lambda, and then we take in the each element, we take an individual element in that list. So T for tuple, and then T of 0. So we sort by the first element, and we get the same thing. But if we sort it by do this, then it sorts it by the second element. And you can see how we can get different orderings based on some criteria we want. Okay, so we sort this course, and then key equals course dot dollar volume. And we want, okay, so if Okay, if you see with this sorted here, you notice that it is in ascending order, but we want it in descending order because we want the bigger things at the, or we can just take the last 10, but let's just sort it by descending. Okay, and so to sort it by descending, you just reverse it, and then we take the top 10, okay? And then we can return, then we have to get the symbol from it because the course function takes a list of course, and as I said, each item in the course, each iterable item in the course is the course fundamental object, but we want to return a list of symbols. And let me just go over, so let's just do this for now, and then I'm gonna go over what symbols are. So for, okay, so let me give you guys a question. So we have this thing called a symbol, and it is like a built-in Quant Connect object. It is a built-in Quant Connect class. So what might be an issue with using a ticker representation for a company over like a few years period of time? Does anyone have an idea, like, why do we have to have this specific like built-in symbol thing? Why can't we just keep using the string ticker like AAPL for Apple or TSLA for Tesla? Like, why is using just these ticker strings a bad idea? I'll give you guys like a few minutes to think about this.
This is because it's easier to change the stock.
Change the stock, can you elaborate?
Yeah, so like when we want to run the test again with other stock, we can just change one paste.
Oh wait, no. Wait, let me clarify. So each symbol is tied to a specific company. Like, why do we use this? Why do we use like? So we did earlier. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, let me go back to the what I was working on earlier. This one. So here, oh yeah, let me actually go over the symbol. Okay, so let's update this code to no longer use AAPL. Self.symbol, self.apple symbol equals, and then let's replace all instances of AAPL with this Apple symbol. Oh yeah, we also have to call this dot symbol. And because I'm not gonna go over it now. Okay. So why might we do this? Why don't we just keep using this AAPL? Like, it's not obvious, but like, okay, so now we are using the internal Quant Connect object representation for the company Apple as a symbol, like the symbol representation for Apple, like which is like a Quant Connect specific thing, instead of using this ticker AAPL. So why do we do this? Okay, hopefully that's more clear. Why do we? What's the benefit of using this? Okay, so think about like change. Like, what can change? Like, okay, so Yashmir Mishra asked like how you can add it to the CFRM Quant Connect thing. It's pretty limited. It's mainly used for okay, so what it is, okay, so is like it's like an upgraded account. So I could what I was using earlier was my free account, but there's a 20-second delay when I run the algorithm. But I don't want this 20-second algorithm, so I just switched to the USRC because it's like an upgrade account, so there's no wait times for running backtests. You will get, if you do some research that we're gonna deploy live for like some like, you get added, but I don't think we're gonna add everyone because we have limited seats in there. Okay. Does anyone have any idea why we don't use the we don't want to keep using the string ticker? Okay, so well, it's not obvious at first, but what happens if the ticker changes? Like, what happens if AAPL? What happens if Apple changes their ticker from like AAPL to A or APPL, right? And this is actually quite common. And there's a lot of reasons why you might do this. Like, one is to like make it, I think it's like to make it more investor accessible or something. There's like a lot of, this could be a lot of reasons, or like there's like some other company like held a symbol, I mean like a ticker, and they delisted it, and the other company really wanted it, and so they like dropped their old ticker and get a new ticker. So with this symbol thing, this internal symbol thing, what it can do is it can track the changes in the ticker. So like if AAPL switches to APPL, because we initialize this Apple symbol on line 6, every time we use this Apple symbol, even if it's APPL instead of AAPL, the internal Quant-Connect symbol thingy will be able to keep track of these changes. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Does it make sense? It's because tickers can change over time, but when we use a back-end symbol object provided by Quant-Connect, it'll automatically track ticker changes, ticker name changes for us. Okay. And so that's basically what a symbol object are. It's a backend to like basically represent a company. And so this course function, what it does is it gives us a collection of course fundamental objects, and we return a collection of symbols. And you might be asking, like, why don't we just return the course fundamentals or objects and it already has a symbol? Maybe just to keep consistency, to make everything like just symbols, like, because in the find filter we need to return a list of symbols or a collection of symbols as well. Okay. And let's try to invest in all these stocks. So let's create a to invest equals security, symbol for symbol in self.securities. Securities is basically like some Quant-Connect object that allows us to do stuff to get securities information, and we want to get the keys. It looks kind of weird, and so in typical Python, like keys, I can't remember, was it key set or something, or just keys or keys, or you could just leave that off and it'll automatically select the keys. But the reason, okay, so the reason we have to do .keys is some of the stuff kind of does look weird, and the reason for that is because the Quant-Connect backend is implemented in C#. And so this Python is just some way to be able to call these C# is sort of like just like an interface to interact with this C# backend, okay? And so there's going to be some strange things like that aren't really Pythonic, but it's just because of the result that the backend is written in C#, okay? So if something does look weird, there's a, okay, so then so num, then let's get the length of this to invest, like how, then for symbol in to invest, self.set, okay, so set holdings. Okay, so can someone tell me the expression I should put here? Maybe like think about it for like 5 seconds. And I want to put 100% of my portfolio into like different stocks, but I don't want to put 100% of my portfolio into one stock. I want to spread out it across all the stocks that I want to invest in. Does anyone have an idea like what I should put here? Okay, hint, like it should add up to 1. Like after, so set holdings, eventually all these percentages should add up to 1. Okay, on the other hand, there's a division symbol in the expression. Okay, yes, that is correct. It is 1 divided by length 2 invest. Okay. I did the length of 2 invest as num stock, so let's just use that. But what you said would work equally as well. Okay. And let's just run this. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Oops, I forgot it. I didn't make this into a lambda function. Equals lambda c colon. Okay then. Anyone have any questions? Like, this is kind of confusing, so. Sometimes this website is kind of slow. Okay. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, okay, so while this running, does anyone have any do you guys have anything you guys want from this club? Like, is there anything you guys want from this club?
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you guys ever like started a portfolio or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. We did set up, so we set up a bank account with, I think it was US Bank or something, and we registered our 50, no, it was just regular nonprofit. It wasn't 501c3, but yeah, that is something we're gonna have to keep working. There's just, yeah, that is something we're working on, and hopefully we'll be able to get some. I mean, we need someone to like. Yeah, it's something we're working on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I don't really have a better answer. Okay, so.
I also have another question.
Yeah.
Is there anything that the QAL is doing, like any projects? Like the trading project you guys did last year?
Let me send an interest form. Okay, let me add that onto my to-do list. Okay. Q. So yeah, we did do it last year. Okay, so I don't know if you get. Okay, so I did mention, like, I did take off a quarter off to work full-time at a company called Trade Terminal. And so Trade Terminal is a crypto trading company, and so I was sort of gone for like the first quarter, so things got a little messy, but I quit that job and I'm back at UW. I quit that job and came back for winter quarter, and so I'm gonna try to get all this. Yeah, we did do the QLL stuff last year. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the QLL started again this year. That's good. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, do you also have like any general tips for anyone interested in the CFRM major?
So I'm personally not in. I'm not in any CFRM courses or major or anything, but I'd say you can probably actually. You know what we can do is invite. We can actually invite Tim Leung, professor. I mean, like he's the department head. He's our club advisor. Let's invite him in a few meetings to like. When are they due? Aren't they like due in April? When's the application?
I think, yeah, they're due in April.
Okay.
Early April.
But let's invite him in at two meetings and then have him explain what are some things skills.
Okay,
Great.
sounds great.
I'm gonna invite Tim Long. Okay. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about my work at Trade Terminal? Why is it so slow?
Yeah, like what did you generally do there? What was
Okay.
your kind of position and what do you do?
Okay, so I was a software. So I started out as like a quantitative developer. I mean, it's basically software engineer. Uh, okay. Okay. And so what I basically did was I worked on like features, like implementing new features. Like if a backtester wanted like a new variable parameter, or like the monitoring, something I did was I redid the monitoring system. So I moved the database from using SQL into using PromQL, which is more suited for time series, and like created all these Grafana dashboards. And so that was one big project I worked on. Another thing was I worked on like the market maker back tester and like just adding new parameters that we can test on. And I also worked on documenting a bunch of code because it was like undocumented. Oh yeah, I also worked on like new projects, like say there's like a new decentralized exchange like Uniswap or BYDX or something. I work on querying the API data points and processing the data and uploading it into MongoDB. So I was just working a lot on the infrastructure side of things. And something I did a lot was collaborate with the traders who like asked me for what features they wanted. Like in the monitoring, say they wanted like what percentage of orders were filled in the past 10 minutes. Like the percentage of the volume was. Then I implement that as a new metric into the dashboard through like the Python into Prometheus into Grafana. And I'd also like say they wanted a backtest and be able to trade on some new parameter. I'd also implement that. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so maybe I'm actually gonna do like a quick survey. I'm not gonna do it in Zoom because I don't feel like doing it in Zoom. Like, okay, so please see your like Python skills. Python. Okay, so general programming. Okay, skills from like 1 to 5. 1 to 5. Python. General.
Do we type in chat?
Yeah, please put in chat.
Okay.
this just to get like a general feel of like maybe some like topics, if like some area were particularly lacking, instead of like telling people to just go watch some old video. I could just go over it because it'd be good benefit. Okay, just see this. We do have a YouTube channel where I post recordings. This is really nice. Bunch of meetings. Well, some of the older ones I posted on my own personal channel because I forgot to like make a new channel. 103 subscribers. Like a bunch of like videos. I need a whatever. Just look at the YouTube channel or look at the playlist. I need to update the playlist. 103 subscribers. The servers might be messed up or something. I have no idea what's going on today. They ran one earlier. Okay, if this doesn't work, that means there's some issue. Some issue with sometimes issues. They are startup. If you guys, maybe I'll have to ask Jared about this, but like, you guys can feel free to reach out to like Quant Connect for internships. We had quite a few people from UW go there. Okay, do you guys have any? Oh yeah, maybe I can go over here. It's kind of boring. Oh, it's working now. Okay. Factors were different. Okay, here instead of like sorting about the top 10 by dollar volume, what we did was we just took all the stocks that were greater than $10 in price. Okay, maybe I can talk about. Okay, yeah, this is enough of this stuff. Like it's boring. Okay, so let me talk about my work at Quant Connect. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I did work. Actually, let's see if let's go to the forums and see if we can find it. Community forums. See if I can. Hey, that's me right there. Oh, that's me right there. I appear a lot in these forums because I was. So let's search quant. Okay, so something cool, really cool, is Quant Connect has like a something called the strategy library, and well, it's hard to search from the main page. So there's like a bunch of different strategies that uses here. Let me put this in the chat. Okay, so there's a bunch of like different different papers that we've implemented on the platform that uses like the traditional finance, anything from traditional finance theory to like machine learning, deep learning, or whatever. Let's see which one. Okay, this one's mine. This one's mine. Well, let's just take a look at this. Oh wait, I think this one's my favorite one. These are.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but like you're not sharing your screen.
How long was that for? Okay, you guys can see my. Hopefully,
Yeah, no, you're good.
wait. So we went over some boring technical stuff that we have to go over, like how to use API and stuff. But let's do something fun for like the last 10 minutes. Okay, so I used a convolutional neural network to forecast stock prices. And this was pretty interesting, but something about it is that it does not work very well. Fun fact, deep learning does not really work well on trading. There's a
Why
guy
is that?
that's a good question. Okay, so the reason is because like let's talk about a cat. Does a picture of a cat change over time? Like, yes, there's evolution and stuff, but like over the past 200 years, like cats haven't really changed all that much, right?
No.
Or like a watermelon or an apple, right? Like these things move very slowly. But things like markets change all the time. So think about it. Like just this past 2 years, the market just went crazy because of COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
with cats or something, like there's some like weird disease that like wipes. There's not that much stuff that really changes the image of a cat. So when you apply deep learning to identifying cats, it will be good for a while and it'll be pretty accurate. And there's no competition because like I mean like if you compete with someone else to identify a cat, it doesn't make their predictions worse. But if you have multiple players in the market, when someone uses some OP deep, like overpowered deep learning model to predict the market, then they start, then the profits slowly disappear as more and more people jump on that deep learning algorithm and use the same thing, and the pieces of the pie gets smaller and smaller for each player, right? And the profits diminish over time. But the ability to identify cats does not change over time. And because of the time series of the market, also the market behaves so differently. Bull market, bear market, COVID, pandemic. Like with some price series, can you predict when a pandemic is going to happen? Probably not. You can't just take some price. So that's why. So, so how do you do this? So what you have to do is okay, so I'm not going to go into too much details. Well, it's pretty generic. A lot of funds do this. What they do is they take a very simple strategy and then they do some like a million different parameter optimizations to get some parameters. And although it will be overfit because you take like 1 year, 2 years of data, then you deploy it and it's profitable for a little while. Then eventually it'll stop being profitable because whatever, like the market changes. Then you train a new basic algorithm with some different set of parameters, and then so that's basically how you make profitable strategies. Using complicated stuff like deep learning does not work. Well, maybe it can work. Okay, so you can actually let's cover this. Hopefully this is interesting. Is this interesting? I mean,
yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, and then another thing is, so how do you use, well, it's not entirely true. It's not entirely true that you can't use deep learning in trading, but I mean like machine learning and stuff like advanced machine learning models. But you can't, it's hard to apply on the stock prices itself because that is data everyone has access to. But if you apply this to some roundabout way, some indirect way, like you use it to identify wells of water to predict corn futures or something, which is like, well, it doesn't work anymore because everyone figured it out because so. But say you did something like clever, like using it to identify the number, like the levels of water in like some reservoirs to predict prices of crops, or you use it to count the number of cars at Walmart locations to forecast their earnings. This is a way, and this is very difficult. And so it's harder to arbitrage away because like some Wall Street bet coder can't just like code up some deep learning model. Like it's a lot harder for like normal people to compete in this area. And so this is one way you can use machine learning, like these comprehensive norms. It's like in an indirect way. Okay. We only have 3 more minutes. I'm going to open up this question. Hopefully, you guys learn how to use a little more of this Quant Connect API. Let's go back. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments for these last 3 minutes? Oh yeah, thanks. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, just to reiterate, Hub 337, they didn't open it, and they opened it very late. Oh, let's try running this then. Do the simple proceed and what is that? Oh wait. Oh, I think I know why this isn't right. Okay. Any questions or comments or anything? Okay, thanks to everyone who came today. I think this will be here. I'm gonna stay around for like 3 more minutes until the end, but you guys are free to go or whatever.
I have a quick question. So for like starting the portfolio for the club, is it like a problem with like not enough like money or?
Well, you can trade with $200 or like $10.
Oh,
You just have to get the legal stuff. We have to get the legal and logistical stuff out of the way because like I mean, if you took a bunch of like college students and then you have them start trading some money, like there could be some like problems, you know.
yeah.
Okay, it's working now. Yeah, I mistyped it. Okay. Now it's working. Yay, it works. Okay. Thank you everyone to coming. You guys, so any more questions? Or I'm just gonna stick around for 2 minutes, but the meeting's basically over. Okay. Okay. Thanks for coming. Bye.
I have another quick question.
Mhm.
So I sent you the OU parameter kind of project.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that or?
On Discord or?
Yeah, on Discord.
I replied, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just wondering like how applicable that actually is, like in like real markets, like would it actually be profitable or?
That's a good question. I think so. Okay, I think it needs a little bit more work. Well, like a lot of people, there's a lot of people already working in time series, like doing it because like a lot of the popular computational finance or mathematical finance or whatever you call it, they all use stochastic calculus. So this is something that they do heavily employ. So it does work actually, but I think I'm not sure if it'll be profitable. I think it'll do okay. Where I worked, we didn't use any stochastic calculus. So I can't say for sure whether it will be profitable or not because I haven't seen it be profitable, but I haven't seen it be unprofitable. So it's really hard to say. Or I don't know if that really answers the question. Like the answer is that maybe it will be profitable, but I'm not like authority. I don't think I don't have like the right knowledge. I don't have like the knowledge. I don't have like.
What did the firms you work at or worked at usually do? Or well, wait, you probably signed like a disclosure thing, right?
Well, what I said earlier, you know, like about like whatever, optimizing a bunch of parameters and stuff. It's probably about most I can say.
Mhm.
Can't say anymore, or else like, because I did sign a non-disclosure.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
But like just make a simple algorithm and just like do a million back tests with different parameters, and then hopefully you get something. And just have like the infrastructure to like have like people. Nothing is like to have people who can just like dedicate